One more colleague, Professor Chandrakala also.
Okay. Hello, Chandrakala.
Karthikeyan, we are hearing some disturbances like sound from fan. Can you identify?
அதான் சவுண்ட் கிராக் ஆயிட்டே இருக்கு சார். அதான் யாருன்னு தெரியல. எல்லாமே அன்மியூட்ல தான் இருக்கு. ஆக்சுவலா
மியூட்ல தான் இருக்கு.
ஆமா, மியூட்ல தான் இருக்கு. யாரு ஃபேன் தெரியல சார்.
ஏன்னா என்னன்னு தெரியல, பாப்போம்.
நண்பா, குட் மார்னிங்.
Good morning, Karthi. You are on the call actually. Phone la பேசிட்டு இருந்தோம். டிஸ்டர்ப் பண்ணல நான் நீங்க.
ஓகே, ஃபைன். மார்னிங் பிரேக்ஃபாஸ்ட் முடிஞ்சதா?
முடிஞ்சது. வணக்கம் போல.
மார்னிங் பிரேக்ஃபாஸ்ட் முடிஞ்சது. வணக்கம் போல. ரைட். ஃபைன்.
ராஜகோபால், இப்ப இந்த நாய்ஸ் கட் ஆயிடுச்சா?
ஆமா.
அப்ப நம்மளதான் சவுண்ட் ஆட்டு இருக்குது. அதே கொஞ்சம்
பரவாயில்ல.
இல்ல இப்ப ப்ராப்ளம் இப்ப இல்ல நாய்ஸ் இல்ல. ஓகே.
Yes, sir.
So we have roughly 50 participants excluding our people. I think we can wait for a minute or two.
Rajagopal, we can wait for another 5 minutes. Just 7 then.
Yes.
And let some people come in. Just for another 5.
Yeah. Sir, Gunaseelan, sir. Sir, Mr. Gunaseelan.
Sir, Gunaseelan.
அங்க யூடியூப் வந்து அவர் ஆன் பண்ணும் போல இருக்கு. ரெடி ஆயிடுச்சு, டைம் வந்துருச்சு.
இல்ல, அதான் சார் பாத்துட்டு இருக்கேன்.
வெயிட்டிங் ஃபார் குணசேகரன் வருது. நிறைய பேர் யூடியூப்ல வருவாங்களா இருக்கும்.
ஆமா சார், ஆமாமா. இது நம்ம யூடியூப்ல பார்த்து வெயிட்டிங் ஃபார் முனைவர் குணசீலன் வந்திருக்கு. அது சொல்லதான் கூப்பிட்டேன். ஓ அப்படியா? ஓகே அப்படிங்களா? ஓகே ஃபைன். யா, ஹலோ, ஏர் சார்.
சொல்லுங்க.
அவர் அதான் சார் டெக்னிக்கல்ல தான் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்காரு அந்த யூடியூப்ல.
ஓகே
பண்றதுனால அதனால வந்து என்னன்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா சார், நம்ம மீட்டிங் ஆரம்பிச்சோம்னா அப்படியே ஸ்ட்ரீமிங் ஆரம்பிச்சிருமா. அதுக்கோசரம் வெயிட்டிங் போட்டிருக்காங்க அதுல.
ஓ சரி.
அதுலயும் வந்துட்டு இருக்காங்க சார். அதுலயும் ஜாயின் ஆயிட்டு இருக்காங்க.
ராஜகோபால், ஹலோ,
சொல்லுங்க.
பை 7:05 அப்படியா? இப்ப 7ங்களா டைம்? 7:05 ஆரம்பிச்சிடலாமா?
ஆரம்பிச்சிடலாம்.
கார்த்திகேயன்
சார் சொல்லுங்க சார்.
இல்ல கொஞ்சம் வெயிட் பண்ணலாமா? இல்ல கேன் வி ஸ்டார்ட்?
இன்னொரு 2 மினிட்ஸ் ஆகட்டும். 2-3
மினிட்ஸ் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிடலாம் சார்.
வந்துட்டு இருக்காங்க பாருங்க. 60-62 வந்துட்டு
இருக்காங்க. ஓகே.
அண்ட் யூடியூப் ஓபன் ஆனோம்னா நிறைய பேர் யூடியூப் கன்வீனியன்ட்டா வருவாங்க.
வெயிட்டிங் பண்ணுங்க. அதான்
சார், எனக்கு ஒன்றும் ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லை. ஐ கேன் வெயிட்.
அவரு குணசேகரன் சார், யூடியூப் ஓபன் பண்ணி விட்டு சொல்லுங்களா?
சார் பண்ணியாச்சு. மீட்டிங் ஆரம்பிச்சது.
இல்ல, இப்ப நம்ம எப்ப லாகின் ஆனமோ அதே மீட்டிங் ஆரம்பிச்ச மாதிரி தான். அந்த பர்பஸ்க்கு அதனால அது லாகின் போய் பாருங்க. லாகின் ஆகுதா? யூடியூப் லிங்க் கொடுத்துருக்கேன். இதை ட்ரை பண்றேன் யூடியூப்ல.
யூடியூப் லைவ் போயிட்டு தாங்க இருக்கு.
யூடியூப்
கார்த்திக்
சொல்லுங்கப்பா.
ஒன்றும் இல்லை, நான் presentation start பண்ணப்ப every 10 minutes ஒருக்கா நான் கூட கன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணிக்கிறேன். because still I want to make sure that I am connected. If due to any internet problem if I got disconnected, just let me know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes sir, we are here live. We will assist you.
Okay, thank you so much.
யூடியூப்ல இங்க நாங்க 2-3 லாகின் பண்ணோம். வெயிட்டிங்ல தான் வருது, இன்னும் ஆரம்பிக்கல. அது மீட்டிங் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ண மாதிரி ஆக்டிவேட் பண்ணி விடுங்களா மிஸ்டர் குணசேகரன் சார்.
ஆக்டிவேட் ஆகி போயிட்டு இருக்கு. நீங்க எந்த லிங்க்ல போறீங்கன்னு தெரியல. மறுபடியும் ஒரு லிங்க் நான் அனுப்புறேங்க. 5 பேர் லாகின்ல இருக்காங்க. யூடியூப் லாகின்ல 5 பேர் இருக்காங்கயா. கார்த்திக் சார், நீங்க யூடியூப் நான் அனுப்பிச்சு
இப்ப வந்துட்டு இருக்காங்க.
யூடியூப்ல லைவ் போயிட்டு இருக்கு. ரெக்கார்ட் ஆயிட்டு இருக்குங்க.
ரைட்.
Okay, those technical aspects they will take care.
Okay.
Sir, we start further.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We can start officially. We can start the program. Okay.
Good evening and good morning to our speaker only, and good evening to everyone others. I hope there are few other participants also from other parts of the world. Let us see. I extend a formal evening wishes to everyone who have joined in this webinar program on data science a glimpse, which is to be presented by our speaker Thiru Rameshkumar. It's our special privilege of the PG and Research Department of Mathematics to organize this one-day webinar on data science, for which our colleague Dr. Karthikeyan has taken special efforts to act as a organizing secretary, who has introduced us our speaker today, Thiru Rameshkumar, who is a friend to him also. I extend my evening wishes to one and all who have joined in this webinar on behalf of the PG and Research Department of Mathematics, Sri Vasavi College, Erode. I extend my warmest welcome and our thanks on behalf of the department, faculty of our department, on behalf of our principal, on behalf of our management, and warmest welcome to our today's speaker, Thiru Rameshkumar, who is a senior consultant in Atos Syntel, which is an technology company which performs several innovative programming as well as hardware jobs. About him and his work, our colleague will introduce in a detailed manner. We are much thankful to Rameshkumar for accepting this request to address the gathering, a glimpse on data science, which is a current and dignified profession liked by people throughout the globe. With this introduction, I once again welcome our speaker Thiru Rameshkumar for this special occasion our principal, as usual, I used to say, beloved principal, who is always on his toes to help our department in every respect. He has helped for this program also. We thank and welcome our principal for this international webinar on data science. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I welcome colleagues of our own department, Professor Sadhana, Professor Chandrakala, and who joined in this program, faculty from other colleges, from other states and other countries, research scholars, students. Almost there are 180 students registered, and 100 faculty have registered, and 20 research scholars have registered. We have participants from Indonesia, Pakistan, and USA, registrants from Indonesia, Pakistan, and USA. Let us check up whether they have joined here also. We are very happy to have such registrations. Let me take less than a minute to speak about today's topic, which is data science. As everyone knows, data science is the combination of three interdisciplinary subjects, basically on the statistical tools, which is modeled using mathematics and programmed by computer science people. Therefore, data science is a combination of multidiscipline, say, statistics, mathematics, and computer programmers or computer scientists. However, I wish to highlight few basic things which constitutes data science. The ultimate objective of data science is to predict, and it is to give us an analytics understanding about an organization and how to proceed. For this purpose, so many things are involved. Basically, data. Every event, every activity happening in anywhere is called data, collection of data. Then after a stage, it has become big data. Big data constitutes of billions of gigabytes. So having that much of data, how to interpret or how to analyze, that has become a big problem. There comes the big data analysis, then it has become analytics, then now it has become a scientific field, what is called data science, and the people engaged in this field are nomenclated as data scientists, which described by so many international journals as sexiest job of the century. They mean that this is the most attractive and potential job, which requires multidisciplinary tasks and multidisciplinary knowledge. For example, I can say we have predictive modeling, which is based on the regression that people have studied from school onwards. There are several models of regression, including categorical regression, everything. Regression plays an important role in prediction of data science. And another purpose of data science is classification. Classification is, as the word suggests, classifying things into one of the several groups. For that purpose, the basic tool which has been developed approximately 300 to 350 years by Reverend Thomas Bayes, which is popularly learned by the school and undergraduate students in the name of Bayes' theorem, which is termed as Bayesian inference. The basic tool, Navy Bayes, is used in classification. These are all the two major ideas used in statistics. These things are modeled using mathematics, programmed by the computers, as I said in the beginning. This constitutes data science. From this itself, we can realize how mathematicians and statisticians can become data scientists. That's why we decided to organize such a program, particularly for our students only. Then later on, we decided to extend this to the entire globe so that everyone can get benefited. And later on, with the help of our friend Tamil Professor R.Gunaseelan from PhD Art, who is also a friend of Karthikeyan to help us in technical aspects of creating YouTube channel. So we, at this juncture, on behalf of our department and college, thank Professor R.Gunaseelan of PH Art College also. With these few words, let me complete my welcome address. Once again, I welcome everyone who have joined in this international webinar on data science, a glimpse to be presented by our good friend Rameshkumar, who is a senior consultant in Atos Intel. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for a warm welcome. And I think you already touched my topic on today's things, like the glance of all kind of data science you already told, but which I'm going to explain in subsequent slides. Thank you so much for your welcome, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Karthikeyan, shall I move to the next agenda?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, invite our beloved principal to present his presidential address.
So thank you. So good evening to everyone. So on behalf of Sri Vasiv College, Erode, Tamil Nadu, on behalf of the management and ACA principal, and on behalf of the mathematics department, HOD, and all the staff members of mathematics department, I extend my warm good evening to everyone who have attended this webinar, one-day international webinar on data science. So organized by the PG and Research Department of Mathematics Department of our college. So as you know, so our college, Sri Vasiv College, Erode, is situated in a rural area. So offering education to poor students in and around the rural area. So we are offering education for more than 53 years. We are entering into the 54th years. And we are proud that we are giving opportunities to the rural people, enlightening their life. And at this juncture, I wish to congratulate the organizers for today's webinar. So the convener and HOD of Mathematics Department, Dr. K. Rajagopal, and the organizing secretary, Dr. R. Karthikeyan, and all the staff members of Mathematics Departments, so who have arranged this webinar in a wonderful manner. And my thanks goes to today's resource person, so Rameshmkumar Ramlingam, the senior consultant from Atos Intel USA. And on behalf of the management and all the staff members of our institution, I extend my warm gratitude to the resource person, because so besides his tight schedule, he has accepted our invitation to address the gathering on the data science. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And my request to all the participants is, so as you know, so mathematics is a basic science. So without science, mathematics, so no science can exist for all the science subject. So mathematics is the basic. That too, data science, which is a topic currently developing, this is the topic. And so all the research scholars, it will be very useful to all the research scholars and staff members so doing research in data science. So with these few words, once again, I extend my warm welcome to the resource person and all the participants of this webinar. So thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the welcome.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Kumar, principal of our college, for your warm presidential address. Thank you. I request you, if your time permits, be with us for the entire program.
Definitely, I will be there.
Okay. Next, thank you, sir. Next, let me invite our colleague who is the organizing secretary of this program, Dr. Karthikeyan, to introduce our today's speaker.
Good evening to all friends. I take it immense pleasure to introducing my beloved friend, as well as for the senior consultant of the Atos Intel company in USA. He's a schooling from the government bachelor school, Satyamangalam, and he did undergraduate the BSc Mathematics programs in Gobi Access Science College, and did MCA in Gobi Access Science College. He has a technical experience of 20 years of IT industry. He held various posts in various companies. He worked as a software engineer in Tata Consulting Service and Blue Star Technologies in Bangalore, and has worked as a project leader in Wipro Technologies and Cognizant Technologies in USA. And furthermore, he worked as a project manager for True Master of Innovation Solutions in Nashville of USA. Now presently working as a senior consultant for the Atas Intel Inclusion Company in USA. He had decades of more than 2 decades to working in IT industries as a versatile personality in the field of computer science. A hearty welcome on behalf of my college as well as for my mathematics department to share your valuable current scenario about the data glimpse and what are the opportunities for our young minds, including as the basic mathematics students. Once again, thank you. Welcome for my friend. Now you can start your session.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Karthikeyan. Short and sweet introduction of our speaker today.
Thank you, Karthik. Thank you so much for warm welcome.
He has many things to his crowd, but you have given only a abstract of that. Thank you.
Yeah. No problem at all. Okay, can I share my screen?
Audience, please, somebody is there. Mute your mic, please.
Okay.
Yes, it is me. I have opened the YouTube channel. It has given sound. I have closed
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Yeah, fine.
May
Okay,
I, with the permission of our principal and everyone who have joined here in this international webinar on data science glimpse, may I request our today's speaker, Sir Rameshkumar, to take over the stage. Sir Rameshkumar, sir, I request you to take over the stage.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Let me share my screen. Okay, so Karthik, can you confirm if you're able to see my screen?
Now,
and
yeah.
it's clear? Okay, good. Okay,
yes,
so
yes, we got it.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let me start up. Okay, so my agenda for this meeting is this slide. I am planning to have the coverage of the data science glimpse and the mathematics and the statistics oriented. I plan to complete for around 45 minutes to 15 minutes and another 10 to 15 minutes for open question and answer. I request all the friends to mute their phone because we don't want to disturb others to listening. So that is the only request from me. And whatever the question you have, please make a note of it, and maybe end of the session we can discuss in detail about it. But in between, try to avoid some questions so that we will not be losing any of them content of the presentation. That is one of my requests. And with your permission, I'm going to start my agenda today. Okay, so this is the agenda I'm going to cover today, actually. So yes, we are a mathematician because I am also studying BSc mathematics. I am proudly say that I'm a mathematician. So most of the people think that math is some kind of boring subject or kind of tough subject. But if you love math, you can do whatever things you want in math. Okay, so that is a passion of my subject. Is one of the mathematics is one of the famous subject for me as well. So that's where I started with my BSc math, and then I have the computer experience also.
Yeah, somebody on the video sorry.
Okay, so Karthi, I'm talking, Karthi, thank you. Okay, so agenda for today's discussion is, so we are going to first touch upon what is data. Because we have been talking about data for a long time, right? So we want to know what is the real data mean and how to measure the data. So that will be the basic about the data. And the next agenda is like the data science. What is it? Karthik, some disturbances coming?
Yeah. Hello, somebody is to be, please, sir. Sir, some
host இருக்கிறவங்க மியூட்டால் போட சொல்லுங்க.
Sir, போட்டாரு. Somebody is there.
அதான். Okay.
Sir. Principal, sir. Principal, sir. Hello. Hello. ஒரு நிமிஷம். ஐயா என்ன சவுண்ட் வந்துட்டே இருக்கு? என்னது? இல்லையே. அப்படியே ஒரு நிமிஷம் இருங்க.
The host can mute everyone except the speaker. That would help.
I think host can do it. Who is the host of this meeting? He can do it.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Sometimes ஏதாவது லேப்டாப் வித் ஃபோன் ரெண்டுலையுமே வந்தாங்களா கூட இந்த ப்ராப்ளம் மறைச்சு வரும். ஒரு டிவைஸ்ல வர சொல்லுங்க. இன்கேஸ் 2 டிவைஸ்ல வரவங்க ஒரு டிவைஸை ஃபுல்லா மீட் பண்ணிட சொல்லுங்க.
ஹலோ. Hello.
Yeah, I think now it's gone.
Now it's okay. Sir, now it's okay.
Okay, so Sara, are you able to hear me? Just I want to make sure I am not muted.
Yeah,
Yes,
we can.
We are hearing you.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
we
you.
are hearing you. You can proceed.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, as I told, the data and the measurement is the first topic we are going to cover. And along with that, then I will move on to the data science. And who is the data scientist? What is his role and what he will normally perform as a data scientist role? And what are all the data files we are having for our analysis and how we are going to categorize those files and how we are going to conduct the data analysis. So yes, we have the data, so we need to perform some kind of analysis, right? So what are the steps, the basic steps we need to follow for the data analysis manually? And the next is what are the data tools data analysis tool available in the market so that we can use it for our purpose, for what are the data we are going to analyze it. So I am going to touch upon some of the tool, not in detail about the tool, but I will give some kind of features that is available in the tool which can be used for your data analysis with some kind of sample dashboard or sample report that will give some kind of clear picture about how the report is generated for the data analysis output. And the additional skills, as being a mathematician, what are all the additional skills and the knowledge we should be having it, or we already got the knowledge from the mathematics that we can use it for our data analysis perspective. And lastly, about the question and answer. So this is a pretty much agenda on my thing. Moving on to the next, the first item is like data measurement. Data and how we are going to measure that. So what is data? So data is defined as the fact and statistics collected for the reference for any kind of analysis. Like for example, we are getting the number as 10, 20, 30. So as a mathematician, we can say that it's a kind of just a number. But there are some meaning into the 10, 20, and 30, depending on what kind of analysis or what kind of processor we are putting upon. So that's what the data. So data will give the fact and the statistics about one particular item. Next is what is mean the raw data. As I mentioned before, that example 10, 20 is the raw data, which we cannot understand what is the meaning of the data, 10, 20, 30, or 40. Somebody says that it is an even number, or somebody says that it's a multiples of tens. Okay, so that whatever the logic or whatever the process we are doing now, applying on the data, so that is called the processed data. There are two kinds of data. One is unprocessed data, that is being raw data. Just 10 will not make any sense. But 10 degrees is the temperature of my city, that is called the processed data. Or 10 is my age of my son, that is a processed data. So that's where the data is with the two kind of like processed data or raw data versus the unprocessed data. So this is the definition of data. So how we are going to measure this data? So I have the data collection of data with me. So how I can measure it? What is the basic unit we need to use it for measuring? Now one of the first measure goes with the nominal. So nominal is a kind of labeling the variable for the particular data. For example, that I have the collection of data from one particular city, how many males and how many females are there. The male and the female is a kind of variable, or labeling the variable. It's a kind of gender of a person. So that's what the gender is a labeling here. So one kind of measurement is nominal. Another kind of measure is ordinal. That means we are giving some kind of order for the data. Whatever the data we have, we are ordering it. This value is very much important and significant, but does not will give any kind of difference between the item. For example, if you go for any kind of survey of the data, the survey will say that, okay, number 1 is being very happy, number 2 is being happy, number 3 is okay, number 4 is happy, and number 5 is very happy. So this is the kind of the feedback we are giving for any kind of services given to the customer. So this will give only the order. I'm happy, unhappy, okay, happy, very happy. So this is the kind of ordering of measurement of the scale, measurement of the data. So next is the interval. Interval is between the range, like 50 degrees Celsius and 60 degrees Celsius. The difference of 10 degree between the 60 and 15 degrees, 10 degree, then measure. That will give the value of 10 degree. That is a kind of interval variable. So that's what we are measuring as an interval. And the next is the ratio. So ratio is the exact value between the units. So for example, if you get the measurement scale, which will measure the height and weight and the duration of your time, like height of the person, weight of the person, and the duration. So these are all some examples of the range of the value. So this is how we are able to measure it as a basic thing of the data. So this is cover my first topic, like data and how we are going to measure it. So as a mathematics or statistics, we have the data into different types, like quantitative data and qualitative data. So whatever the measurement we have did it in the previous slide, we are going to compare how we are arrived at that and which category it's belong to in the data. The quantitative data is a kind of numerical value. It will give the exact value of any particular item, like distance, duration, length, or revenue, the speed of a car, or whatever. Underneath the quantity of data, we have the two types, that is discrete and continuous. So discrete always gives some kind of the whole value, the kind of the number of bars in the back.
Class at 7 மணிக்கே ஸ்டார்ட். ஏது? இதுவா?
Hello friends, if you are not talking, can you put your phone on mute? Phone or laptop or whatever. Thank you, Naveen. Okay, let me continue. Okay, so we discussed about the discrete, and similarly we have the continuous data also, the continuous quantitative data. So this continuous means like a kind of continuous number, which will be broken down into the smaller ranges, like a temperature, like 13.334, something kind of thing. So these are all the two categories come under the quantitative item. And the next is the qualitative item. This is kind of the categorical oriented. Like data can be given as a labeling. So that's what I mentioned in the previous slide, the nominal scale and the ordinal scale, which come under the qualitative data, which we are giving a name of like a gender is the one of the name, and the order of it, whatever the order we are, the happy, unhappy, we have given the order. So these two categories will come under the qualitative data, and the interval of scale and the range of scale data will come under the quantitative of data type. So this is my best or basic concept of data measurement, how we are doing it. And what from this data measurement, what are all the things we can achieve it? So like with the nominal, we can ask for only frequency of distribution, and the mode we can measure it. But with the ordinal, we can see that range also, what is it, the median also. And the mean can be identified with the interval of data scaling, and the ratio can be used for the some kind of true value, true zero, multiples with the values, divide with the values. We can do all kind of manipulation in the range of data. So as we got the data, whatever the measurement we are doing it, these are all the things we can be achieved from the data, and whatever the scale we are using it. It's up to you. For whatever the analysis we are doing, you can use any kind of measure on any kind of data, whatever is available with us. So that will give the introduction about our data and the data measurement. I hope so far everyone is clear on this. Kathy, shall I move on to the next topic? Are you able to hear me? Just I want to make sure.
Yeah, we are able to hear you, but the presentation is not seen. It's not visible.
Oh my God. Once again, let me.
Presentation is clear. You can just go on the pin.
Presentation is seen. You have to pin it to your main window.
Yeah.
Okay.
Participants, those who are not visible with the presentation, please pin on the speaker.
And we are receiving in chat box, everything is clear.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
sir, you can proceed.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, we will move on to the next topic on today, like that is the data science and the data scientist. So far we have identified what is the data and how we can measure it. So we are going into the bigger picture now. What is meant by data science? Okay. So we got a data. So data science is used as a quantitative and qualitative method and statistics on data to solve the relevant problem to predict the outcome. So with this data, what we are going to predict? So for predicting, we are going to apply some kind of measures, apply some kind of logic or process, whatever we are doing it. So that kind of analysis and technique we are using, that's called the data science. So basically, with the data, we are applying some kind of logic or applying some analysis tool, or it's a manual tool or a computer programming tool, whatever we are applying in the quantitative and the qualitative measurement, and coming up with some kind of output, which will be displayed in the form of any kind of report or a dashboard. So this process is called data science. That means the tools and techniques we are applying on top of the data to produce some prediction. So that's what the data science is all about. So now, as Dr. Rajagopalan also said that, okay, data is, math is also one of the science. It's really a science. So whatever the logic or whatever the kind of analysis we want to put, we need putting onto the data. It involved in developing a method, recording, storing, and analyzing data. So basically, as soon as we get the data, we cannot process it in the same way it is available with us. So we have to do some kind of formatting of the data and storing in the proper place and retrieving in the from the proper place to process it and store it into some place to display to as an output. So these are all the tools and techniques we are using in the data science. So in the data science perspective, mostly we are using all kind of mathematical and statistical tools and technique, which I am going to talk in subsequent slide in detail about it. What are all the tools, the basic tools, mathematical tools and techniques we are using for data analysis. So this process will have the collection, organization, analysis, and the presentation. So these are all the 4 basic steps of data, how we are going to analyze it. So this is the kind of the definitions or kind of introduction about the data science. So who is data scientist? The data scientist is a person who is having a skill of programming as well as statistics or mathematical tool and developing some kind of domain expert also in the relevant area. Suppose I can give an example of one data scientist. So as you know that the election is coming in India next year, nowadays most of the colleges, they will start doing some kind of exit poll on the election result, or in some kind of corona also, people are doing some kind of analysis on the data, how many people are getting affected and all those stuff. So if we are really if you have a good relevant knowledge in the particular field, whether it is a political field or whatever field you are working on or whatever field you are going to do data analysis, that will give the more value whenever we are producing output or prediction of output. So that is the domain knowledge. That's all we call it as expert in the relevant area. That we call it as a subject matter expert. So if you are not very well in detail about that particular area, the domain knowledge, you can get the help from some of the customers or some of the expert. Like for example, in the software also, we will be using one is called subject matter expert as one of the person who will help us for any kind of data analysis. So those are all the person we call it as a data analyst, data scientist. So this data scientist people, they will predominantly use math and statistics, tools and techniques for analyzing this data. So that is the basic skill set of any kind of data scientist should have for coming up with any kind of data analysis report. And from this, they can use this analysis report for any kind of machine language algorithm also, depending on what area they are going to discuss or what area they are going to analyze. So this is the overview about data science and a data scientist. So next, I'm going to talk about what are the files we have. So now we saw the data. We got to store this data into any other format, right? To process it with this data scientist. So we got the different types of files and categories. What are all those data files available with us? How we can store this file? Yeah, data file is a computer file which stores the data for processing. We can process it manually also, but we are talking about the computer programming, so we will be using some kind of application or some kind of program, whatever we are developing, which is going to process that data as an input and process it and produce the output in the form of report. So this is called where the file is stored, all the raw data is stored is called the data file. So data file will not have any instruction how to process it. It will just have the raw data. We have to apply some kind of programming knowledge or program or system to process the data. So the basic concept here is data file will not have any kind of instruction how to process the data. That's why I want to clear it here. Okay. So some of the categories. I'm not going to give all kind of categories. So what are the basic category we are using it in our day-to-day life for processing data, and even in our home day-to-day life also we are using some kind of like MP3 format. Now we are using for listening music and watching some videos and all, right? So those are all called the proprietary file. The proprietary format file is any company specific or organization specific. If you take example of some of the medical field, they will not share the file or data to anybody with any other format. They have their own specific format. That's a proprietary format. So the first format of the file is the proprietary format that is specifically for that particular company or organization. So next is the open file. The open file can be used for in general market. Anyone can use it without damaging the file. Okay, it's basically a digital file like whatever the videos you are seeing on the YouTube or any kind of Facebook. So those are all the common file. They can use it for anywhere, but they have some kind of standards based on which file need to be uploaded in the Facebook or which file need to be uploaded in the Google or YouTube, whatever. The next set of files are like indexed file. So the indexed file is really used for how we are going to process it. Suppose if we have 1 million record in one particular text or Excel file, we can create some kind of index. For example, if you have the employee or college, if you take example of the Vasavi College, we have around thousands of students in the math department. I want to specifically to identify what is the subject my friend Karthikeyan is taking. So Karthikeyan will have some kind of employee number. So with that employee number, I can easily retrieve the data and process the data. Otherwise, I need to go through all the thousands of records, which will take a lot of time. So with the indexed file, I can create or I can retrieve the data with some kind of key element, like employee number or whatever we are defining it. So next is the database. So database is another kind of storage device. We can store the data in the different format. So there are different kind of database. Now I am talking about only the RDBMS, the relational database management. We are using some kind of the SQL, MySQL and Oracle, which will store the data of any kind of organization or any kind of purpose, whatever we are going to use it, and process it for our reporting purpose. So next is the audit file. So this audit file really will help us to do some kind of security on the data. So suppose, as I given the example, the 1,000 student in the math department in Vasavi College, I want to know who is accessing the data by one person at the given point in time. Suppose one person can go and delete the data from the database, right? So we do not have any kind of control. So that kind of purpose, this audit file is created. We can see that which person accessed this data at what time and what kind of action he performed, whether he added anything on the record or he deleted anything or modified anything. Those kind of things will be stored for this audit file. Next, moving on to the transaction file. So transaction file is kind of a intermediate file, the temporary file which is created for the each and every day transaction. Like an example of the banking data. Suppose we are using an ATM card for withdrawing the cash from the ATM. So morning 10 o'clock you are withdrawing 1,000 rupees, and afternoon 1,000 rupees, and in the night you are withdrawing 2,000 rupees. These are all the temporary file. The daily transaction file are stored in the temporary file. By the end of the night, the batch cycle job will run and process this file and make your how many withdrawals you make and the total amount whatever is there. So these are all the transaction file or the temporary file which is stored in the temporary database, and it will be uploaded into the final database at the end of the day or end of the night or whatever the process they are defining it. And this is the backup and security file. So the backup file really will help us if anything goes wrong in the system processing. So this can be used for retrieving whatever data lost. And the security file also, like as I mentioned in the audit file, the security file also will have that, okay, if somebody is deleted, knowingly or unknowingly, they deleted one record, that record will be stored in the data backup file. We can check with them whether what is the purpose of deleted. If we need to recover, we can recover with this security files in the backup files. The last but not the least, that is a historical file. Historical file is stored for some kind of specific purpose. Like for example, in the hospital and all, in the US also we have some hospital, they have rules. They have to store the data for last 7 years or 10 years, depending on the country or depending on the company policy, they will have it. So if the one day in 2001 one patient is admitted for some kind of cancer, and after 5 years he cured and then he got out of the hospital. So for the any kind of future reference, if they want to have some kind of reference on the patient, what is the disease he has, and what are the treatment given, and how he got cured and all, so they can go and retrieve their historical file and see what are kind of treatment they are given. So these are all the data files and the categories we are using it. I hope so far everyone is on with me, right? Kathy, can you just confirm you are able to hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Kathy. Okay, let's
Yes,
see.
sir. Please continue.
We are hearing and everything is clear.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, we'll move on to the next topic. Okay, how to conduct the data analysis. So this one I'm going to give some kind of basic how we can normally typically we will do the what kind of analysis we will do with some kind of manual effort, and sometimes we use them tool also. I'm going to talk the tools in the next slides, but now we concentrate on how we can do the data analysis. So before starting with the data analysis, so as you know, for any kind of data analysis, first point is we'll be collecting the data. Take this example of that exit polling for the election or a coronavirus data collection. So we will be collecting the data of the political party, and we need to organize in the form. Like you can use any form, whatever form you are. Some people are really good in Excel, or some people are really good in Notepad. Whatever they want to store, what are the collection data they collected, they will be storing into the database. Any kind of tools, Excel or a manual. Or some people still, I know that some people are writing in the paper also to do the analysis. There are techniques available for paper analysis as well we can do. And assigning some values for that, whatever the data we collected. Okay, and grouping the data. So grouping the data is what the doctor told, like the categorization of the data. We are going to categorize. We will take the example of the exit poll so that everyone can easily understand it. So if you are collecting the data for an exit poll for a particular election, so we will be categorizing how many male candidates are there, how many female candidates are there, how many new, the first time voters are there. So these are all the category we will be doing it. So as soon as we store the data in Excel form and we will categorize it and we will do check for any kind of error, because as a human, whenever we are doing some kind of manual entry, we tend to do some kind of mistake or error in the data. So make sure that everything is correct. This is very important because if you given any kind of wrong or invalid data, it will give the invalid result, invalid output. So make sure that whatever the data you entered, it is in clear format or clear, accurate, so that you can get the accurate prediction. So the first point is like organizing the data, whatever we collected. So that is the first step of the data analysis. And choosing the statistics tool. So for now we got the data and we stored in one particular place. So now we need to apply some kind of logic, how to get the output. So there are some kind of the common basic techniques which we are using it for data analysis. So run the t-test to compare the two variables. So basically this will give some kind of average value. So in the same kind of the example, that political exit poll, you can see that how many average male voters are there, how many female voters are there. So this is the basic step. This is one of the tools or tests we can use it on top of the data. And also variance. What is the variance of the people? Like who is the youngest voter and who is the oldest voter? So those kind of range we can do that. So that is called the analysis of variance. So we can see the difference between these two age group or different kind of gender group. And also we can use for any kind of linear regression test on any particular one variable. So this your exit poll is going to be determined based on the young voters or not, or the female voters or not. So you can apply any particular variable on top of your data, and based on that you can perform your analysis. As you see, like in India, we got a lot of youth people, that is young people in this generation. So that is one of the variable which is going to really impact our election result. So that is one as a variable, very key important variable which can be used for our analysis. And also there is a kind of the analysis of the covariance, the variance between any kind of correlated value, the two regression line. That also can be calculated. So these are all some of the basic tools which we can use it for our testing on the data or analyzing on the data. So next is whatever we analyze it, the tools we are going to select and we are going to apply the tool here on the data. So this one we can take the sampling. As mathematician, you guys know what is meant by sampling. So out of 8 crore people in Tamil Nadu, we are going to take a sample of only 20,000 or 15,000, whatever the data. We need to take a good sampling for do our analysis, do our researches. And based on that, we got to come up with a question also. What is the proper question you have to, what is you are going to achieve? What is your objective of this poll? Or what is the objective of our analysis? You have to come up with some kind of clear research question. And based on that, whatever the analysis tool we are using, we are coming up with some kind of output. That output we need to consult with any statistician. That's what I call it as the subject matter expert. So the subject matter expert will really give the analysis of the data. If you are a subject matter expert on that particular field, that is well and good. If not, we can consult with other people also to give a suggestion of the report. And also on top of your report, you can use some kind of the external tool also, like R or SAS. Some of the tools are available in the market that also can be used for analyzing your data. So next is the presenting the data. So now, first step, you got a data and you selected what are the technique or tool you need to use it and analyze the data. And now we have the output. And how to represent the output? It's some kind of meaningful, and which is easily understandable by the other user. So that is one of the key important things. So presenting the data. So after the output is generated, we can put whatever the way you want. It is like a pie chart or a bar chart or a kind of any kind of dashboard report. And whenever you are giving the dashboard, you will give the clear labeling of all the axes, like what is mean by x-axis and what is the y-axis mean, and what is the peak of the size and all those stuff we got to clear. And wherever possible, you put some kind of note with any kind of significance. So this is the important key factor of this analysis. And try to compare the similar group together and compare and produce the output. And also give the detailed figure legend. Instead of giving us a kind of text oriented, if you give a graphical oriented, the people can easily understand. So this is the basic step of conducting data analysis. First, collect the data and select the test we are going to conduct the data, and what is the analysis how we are going to do the analysis, and how we are going to present. These are all the 4 basic simple steps for data analysis. Okay, so far everyone clear with me? Okay. Okay, I am moving on to the next topic as data analysis tools which are available in the market. So some of the tools that commonly pretty much most of the people are aware of it, or most of the people use it. Out of I have selected around 6 or 7 tools, I believe. I haven't got a chance to or opportunity to work on all the tools. I work on 3 or 4 tools, I believe, which I will discuss in detail. But other things, I'll give you some kind of overview about the tool. The tool can be used for what purpose, and also that will really help you to use it whenever you are doing the data analysis. So the first tool is the Microsoft BI. So the Microsoft BI is the one of the tool which is giving the data visualization. So as I told you, we are storing the data first, right? Once we collected, we are storing the data. So we can store the data in some kind of specific organized way. So from the data itself, we can visualize what is going to be coming out of this tool. So that is the benefit of this Microsoft BI tool. And also it has some kind of advanced tool to do the analysis, like mean, median, mode, and the covariance. This is already existing using some kind of function available in the tool. We can use it for our analysis. And also this tool is facilitating data from the data injection is kind of moving the data from one place to other places. Okay, and where to store and where to get access to and the quality of data. Like as I told you before, whenever we are doing some kind of manual data entry, we tend to do the mistake. But this tool will identify if you are missing anything. Some of the field as mandatory field, if you are not entered it, it will give us an error saying that okay, this field is not entered, or this field is not given as a correct format. Suppose in the age field, if you are giving a data type as a number field, if you are typing as XYZ, it won't accept it. So it will do the quality of data, it will do the basic validation, and it will produce a kind of error report saying that out of so much of data, so many data are having some kind of error. And all the tools and the reporting, there are some standard reports available in that. We can use it and we can produce the report from this tool. Report is basically a kind of dashboard, the output of your data analysis. So these are all the features available in it. The data storage, you can store the data in the cloud on your own premises, your company organization, and sometimes they will use it in store also, and they will store it in the cloud as well. So these are all the common features. And the data integration capability. So whenever you have the one department data in this particular database, you can easily integrate to the other department of the same company. So that's called, they call it as data integration capabilities. And the data analysis, as I told you, it already has some kind of set of defined function, so which can be used for analytical purpose, and the AI capability, the artificial intelligence capabilities also, which can be used with some kind of big data science perspective. And the data visualization, data management capability. And this data can be processed as a batch and the stream, like online. Everything can be possible with both the method. And we can produce the ad hoc report. They are already given some kind of standard reporting, but if you want any specific report, the customized report for your own purpose, this tool can be used. And the data security also there. The data security is really a very vast subject, which I'm not going to cover it in this due to the time constraint. But that is one of the key important thing in the data analysis or data science. So this is one of the tools. Predominantly, most of the people use it in the market now. So the next is the Tableau. So Tableau is a kind of the graphical representation. It will have some kind of graph and chart kind of dashboard, which is already available in this tool. And which has a total of 6 products. Okay, one is that we can use this application, the desktop and the server version, and the Tableau online also you can do, and the Tableau the professional also available, and the public. The public Tableau is some kind of basic tool, like it will not have much of a feature. It's an open market tool. You can use it for the free download. And another one is the Tableau Reader. So these are all the features available in this Tableau tool. I didn't get a chance to work on this one, but I know what this tool predominantly do. It's a kind of the basic thing, whatever the common functionality we are referring it. It will have the phone and the tablet here also. This whatever the report we have generated here, we can view it in the phone or Tableau, because it will have the compatibility issue. Will not be having compatibility issue. This tool can be used in your mobile phone or a laptop, in computer or anywhere. Also, there are different set of different layouts for all your report, or some kind of customization report also available. You can easily customize the report whatever the way you want to present it. Okay, and the next is we can apply some kind of filter in this tool itself to customize your report, and a lot of parameter can be used dynamically. You can change your variable to produce a report, and you can produce some kind of highlighted reports, so that will really give a good view about whatever report you are generating. And this also can be available online. You can connect it to any kind of online database, so that any person can view this report. And it also allows us to do the joining of the data set. Yes, I told you the integration of the data. You can easily combine the data between the location or between the system or whatever. Moving on to the another tool. This is also one of the famous tool in the market, that is Rapid Miner. So this particular tool will have the advantage of using the machine language also. So whatever the data we use for any analysis and the report generated, that can be used for machine learning, and it will really give some kind of detailed report on the big data. And this have one additional feature like the text mining also. The text mining is the whatever, suppose if you are calling to the customer care service and customer care for any kind of like Airtel or any kind of mobile phone or any kind of service, whatever the discussion you are having, they will be storing into any kind of document, the whole history of the conversation. So this tool has the capability of reading those files, the document, and understand what is the real problem of the customer. So based on that, they can produce some kind of report also. Out of 1 month, how many people are called for a technical issue? Out of how many 1 month, how many people called for a kind of the plan issue? Whatever the Airtel plan they have it. So this kind of report can be generated. So this is the one of the advantage of this particular tool. It will process the data in the text format as well. And it will also give some kind of prediction model. So we can predict what will be the outcome of if we have this kind of data available in our database. And this also have some kind of powerful GUI, the user interface. So it will give this kind of good report and everything. So other features are the built-in security is available. There are more security in this particular tool. So that's why people are referring this one, but it's really the expensive tool. We need to invest a lot of money for using this tool. So that's where people with a small company, they will not go for this one. If they want to really do any kind of the big bang theory, so they will go for this tool and invest a lot of money to do the analysis. And this one has some kind of workflow management also. We can define our workflow management, how the data is coming in, how it is processed, and how it is going out. We can set up our workflow management of all the process in the place. Okay, moving on to the next slide. So this one is, I think this is the one of the famous tool, the Python. Most of the people is freely available in the market. So most of the people will use it. So this is kind of using the Java scripting language. So you can do some object-oriented scripting language, and which easily read the data and process the data with whatever the logic you are going to apply, and it will produce the output. This can be used for any kind of database like SQL Server or any other platform, or even from the Excel sheet also. And also they are using some Oracle database and the JSON. So these are all the common things we are using for processing this in the Python tool. So JSON is the JavaScript orientation notation, object notation. So this will have some kind of input file and process it, and it will produce the output. So this also will produce the text data, process the test data. I heard about this tool, but I never had any kind of hands-on experience on the Python tool. But it's one of the famous tools. Most of the people will use it because it's freely available in the market. And I worked on this one, the IBM Cognos. So this is the business intelligence tool. It's not only apply on the data. So from this we can apply your business logic and produce the output, and which can be used for our artificial intelligence inside also, how the data is processed, and with this kind of data, how much our artificial intelligence can read the data and how much it can process it, and all those stuff. And it has a good featuring of producing output. Output means like whatever the way you want, you can customize the output and print it on the different format, which can be shared with a different level of management. Because in the report also, whenever you are sharing the report, not all the people will not be having Here they want to look into the same kind of report. For the level of the executive position, you will be producing a report. So it is easily customizable. All kind of data available in the IBM numbers. Yeah, and another one is the SAS and the R, and these are the last one. I got an opportunity to work on this SAS tool. So this SAS is one of the statistics tools, so which will really produce a lot of output. But for this, we need to do a lot of coding. It's not an easy tool to use it. You should be knowing the programming language skill. Then only we'll be able to use this particular tool. And this is also more costly, the expensive one. So people will not invest it so easily. If they really see the benefit, then they will use it. Otherwise, they will go for other tool. And the last but not the least is R. R is the open source programming language. It is used in many of the statistics analysis perspective. But this also needs a lot of coding experience. We need to be a good programmer. And there are a lot of functions available in that we can use it in our coding, which will give some kind of the regression modeling, the linear and the non-linear modeling. So these are all the kind of functionality that is available in the tool. But we need to know how to use these features from the tool by doing a lot of coding on that. So that is one of the main important feature of this R tool. So with this, I completed the tool. I'm going to share some of the sample report. So this is the Microsoft BI tool, which produced some kind of the sales report on one particular thing. So this will have some kind of the net sales, how much is processed for one particular month, and what is the total cost of sale, and the gross profit, how much it is, and what is our operating expense, the daily expenses that are doing it. So these are all the numbers. You can produce the report in the form of number, and also this is giving some kind of graphical representation. And also it will give some kind of trend analysis, like from the January to December, how much the profit is gone up and down with the different country or different location. These are all the tools, these are all the techniques or a reporting strategy, the customized report which is available in this tool, and we can produce out of it. And then another one more example, this is kind of simple, the Tableau basic tool. So this report will have the kind of the bar chart, and we can produce whatever the chart you want. There are a lot of features available. I took only one example as this one. So it also will give them sales of one particular company and the different kind of category of the product, the inventory they have it, like dresses, how much the cost they sold for 1 year, and the shoes and the different product, whatever. So I've given some kind of example of it, whatever is available. That definitely you can go through in the Google, or you can go to the particular website. You can see a lot of different tools and reports available from the East tool. So that will conclude the tool perspective. And other than last subject on my today's objective of my today's topic is like additional skills and analysis. Yes, we are a mathematician. What are all the skills we learned from math? How we can use it in all these kind of data analysis? So that's what I want to cover it here. So additional skills, basically, and the additional skills, whatever we have is from the math and statistics foundation. Like basically, this all kind of data analysis or data modeling technique, which we use the probability theory. Like you already studied, I believe, discrete probability theory, how this event is occurring, when this event is occurring, what is the sample space, and which factor. Like for example, if you take the global warming and all, the people are doing a lot of research on the data of the global warming, why this temperature is going each and every day after in the global, and what is the key factor, and what is the probability of increasing it or decreasing it, how we can control it. So all kind of probability theory, they are applying on top of the data, whatever they collected, and they are coming up with the producing the report. And also the another technique in math is the combinatorics. So this is kind of the formula and the estimation of the analysis of the algorithm. So whatever the algorithm we want to apply on the data, this is the one of the tool which can be used. You can apply some formula or create some formula and the estimation and the algorithm, whatever we are going to develop on this data. And the notation of the sampling and the event spacing. So when this event will occur and what factor this event will occur. So all kind of these are the probability theory which we studied in math actually. And this can be applied for all kind of data analysis. And the axiom of probability. I think you know that we have all the three axiom 1 and axiom 2 and axiom 3. What is the probability of occurring the real number, or what is the probability of occurring the even number when we toss the coin, and all those stuff. These are all the basic concept which we can apply on the what kind of data we are processing it. So that if take example of corona also. So what is the main key factor of the coronavirus is spreading like anything. So what are the data we collected? We can do apply any of this probability theory and apply it on top of the data and produce outcome. Okay, out of 100 sample, I found that 90 people are getting affected because they are not wearing the mask. So this kind of probability theory we can apply on the data for our analysis and produce the output. And also the Bayes theorem, which already Dr. talked about this one. The Bayes is one of the key scientists and he given a lot of theorem on the probabilities, which really can be used for all our data analysis perspective. Also the probabilistic model. So based on this theory, there are some kind of model which are available in the market that can be also used for your data analysis, like random variable technique. So we have the data of the hues. So we need to identify what is the key variable which is really impacting this data analysis that can be used, that can be identified and that can be explored more on coming up with our research. And also the discrete probability distribution. We have the binomial distribution, multinomial distribution, geometric, the Poisson distribution. You can apply on the data, but the key important thing is we have a lot of model available, but which model to choose is the kind of expert or data scientist he or she should be determining it based on the data, whatever he or she collected. But there are models available in it. And then next one is the notation of expectation. Okay, so what is the probability of occurring one particular event? Which variable is really impacting that? So this is also one of the concepts in the notation of expectation, which we studied in math. It can be used for our data analysis. And from there, we can produce the output with the specified format. So far, I discussed about some of the mathematical techniques, and also we got some kind of a business expertise, like subject matter expertise tool at the foundation also. This is kind of the supervised learning and the linear modeling. So we have this the regression modeling, linear modeling, non-linear modeling, and decision tree. So based on the data, we can come up with a some kind of decision tree. So which factor is determining the next subsequent step? If one particular event is occurred, what is the subsequent steps is going to occur? So this is where we are using that if and what technique. So if this is occur, what is going to occur next? If it is not occur, what it is not going to occur? So that way we can do some kind of determination and what is going to be the probability of the event occurring in the future. So these are all the concepts you can use it. And also the hypothesis theory in the machine learning. So machine learning is normally they will use that hypothesis is one of the theorem. Like if this is going to happen, what will be the subsequent things is happening it. So normally they will take away, which is really not happening in future, but they will predict in the negative way or predicting in the negative way whatever is going to happen in the world. So those kind of technique we can use it as a subject matter. And also the regression technique, we can use it here. The classification, the prediction model, whatever that prediction we are having it, and we can classify it in different format, and we can come up with some kind of results, and it will really produce an output in the good format. So these are all the common basic things we will be using it. And how, actually, if we come into the market, so far we have discussed about all the tools and technique and the knowledge, whatever the skills we have learned it. But when we are coming up to the market for a job, really what they will be looking from you, like as a mathematician or a computer professional, what they will be looking for. I took one example in the next slide. So yeah, for this one is like kind of data scientist is one of the job opportunity available. I took one as an example and I want to show what they will really look for it as a mathematician. So data analyst, they probably should have the value of this one, like advanced analytics and statistics. And also the computer programming. Computer programming, if you have, that is really good. Any kind of programming language, whatever we discussed it. If you have some kind of basic thing in one or two tool, it can be applied for other tool also. It's kind of more a common thing. You can customize it, I can learn it quickly, and then you can use it for your data. And the basic that important is they develop the data-driven solution. Because as a data scientist, you will be working on a data more. So based on the data, as a data scientist, you should be able to provide a solution based on the data. So that's what the key responsibility that all the job market is looking for. So if you have the good analytical knowledge and statistical knowledge along with some kind of programming language skill, definitely you can get through this data scientist market. You can get into and then you can explore more and more because every day new tools and techniques are coming in the market, right? This can be used. And also we look for any kind of mathematical or statistics technique which is used in software. Yeah, whatever the discussion we had in the previous slide, like the skills of the linear regression or Bayes theorem, and whatever the probability distribution. If you have the technique, but definitely you are studied in mathematics, but you should know how to apply those in the computer programming or whenever you are doing this kind of activity. And also they look for some kind of specific tool. As I told you, that SAS is the one of the tool, and SQL. So these are all the tools. If you get the knowledge, definitely you can get through this market and you can explore more. Okay, I think I covered pretty much all the things I want to cover it. Now it is open for question and answer. Dr. Rajagopalan sir, just I covered my whatever I want to cover, I covered. I hope everyone got the glimpse or in detail about data science. So if you have any questions, I think we can go for it now, I believe.
Let us wait for a moment for questions.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Ramesh?
Yeah.
In IT industry, what type of skills to be needed for these young process completed for a BSc Max with the MCA or IT industry? Because in coming up in a statistical report, they predicted that within a couple of 5 years, not for coming of 5 years, there need for 1.5-4 vacancy in the data science field. That's reported expected from the IIT industry. But we need how to make a training our student with this information.
Yeah, Karthi. Yeah, that's really a good question. Thank you for that question. Yeah, as I touched upon my last slide in the presentation. So, as I told you, as a mathematician, we already know the tools and techniques in mathematics or statistics. Okay, the probability theory and all kind of distribution, whatever we are learned it. But that alone will not sufficient in the market to come into getting into the job. So you should know where to use this technique in our computer programming language so that your knowledge can be easily used and produce the good output. So that's where our mathematical, like including me, sometimes we are also lacking that kind of thing. We know the technique learned in math, but how to apply in the programming skills. So that's where the gap I see. That's what I hear from the people also. So if you are after completing your mathematics with all the tools and techniques, and you should have some kind of basic programming language as well, and how to use this technique in the programming, so that it is really will give the quality of understanding of the theorem and also applying the hands-on experience on the programming language. So that will really help all the candidate to get into the job.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Quick question. So you mentioned about the machine learning, the additional skills and knowledge. So I just wanted to understand that though the machine language is part of artificial intelligence, so the data science or the data analysis outcome can be fed back into machine learning to come up with any of the intelligence into any of the systems. Is that right? So it's not like machine learning would be one of the dependencies for data science. So two of them are different subjects, but it can be correlated to bring in additional intelligence or the artificial intelligence. Is that right? Or
okay,
Mr. Rameshkumar, Just a minute. Before you answer, the person who asked you a question is Vishnuvardhan. He is working in Oracle for 10-15 years.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Vishnu, it's a really good question. So I can give some kind of insight about that question with the answer with some example. Okay, so yes, I discussed on the data analysis part. So once the data analysis, I'll give the example of some kind of the patient care. If you take example, in US also we are having a lot of cancer cases, different kind of cancers. So this data can be stored in a hospital and they will do the analysis on the data. Okay, so what is the real factor that people are getting into the more number of cancer patients? That will be used for our data analysis perspective. So the same analysis can be done for one hospital. This can be extended to the another hospital in a one particular city and go into the one state and go into the one country and it will go into the global also. So if you take that small data analysis, it is expanded to the very big data science and they are doing the analysis applying the logic, because whatever the cases happen in the cancer cases happen in US, the same reason is not going to happen in India or other country also, because of the environment it is varying. So in that cases, during that kind of analysis, they will use this kind of artificial intelligence. How to analyze this data? I got a data from the US, I got a data from UK, I got a data from India. So these three kind of data, they already individually analyze on this each country, but how they are going to combine together. So during such a cases, they will use this machine learning and also this artificial intelligence technique to analyze the data. And based on that, they will produce the output. So that will really give a clear picture of how this cancer patient is treated or how this cancer patient is cured. So that's where they can go for some kind of artificial. So okay, if they identify, okay, this problem is happened in US for only so and so reason, what is the remedy for it? How they can create some kind of medication or some kind of, if you really need the artificial chemotherapy also, they can do it with some kind of robotics now. So they can go for artificial intelligence. Okay, so in US we see that a lot of patients are having the cancer because of so and so reason. So there is a only solution for this is doing the chemotherapy. So chemotherapy manually, if you are doing the one day, if you are doing the 10 patient, if you do it with the robot, you can go for 100 patient at the one day. So this kind of analysis will produce some kind of output or results for some new innovation. So that's where the artificial intelligence is coming up. So the data science and the artificial intelligence are correlated, but how we are relating, that's what the challenge of the technical people. I think I hope you answered your question, Vishnu. You got a clear picture now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I just wanted to confirm it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Dear sir, in connection with your explanation, may I suggest if you quote one more simple example that the program learns from data. That is the basis of machine learning, which forms a basis of artificial intelligence. You can give a simple explanation so that others will be happy. How machine learning is helpful in data science.
Okay, so machine learning, I can give another example in the military also. So nowadays, military people, they don't want to, or in the rocket launch also, like if you take the example of last month, from US, we have launched the missile also, the human to the space center, and they came back, right? So during such a cases, they will, because they don't want to send hundreds of people together. So first they will do with one random sample. Even with the Kalpana Chawla also, that's what happened. They, due to some reason, they are not able to succeed in that, it got failed. So based on what are the data they have collected, what are the problems that has happened during that Kalpana's Chawla's launch and how got it failed. So they will do a lot of data analysis on that. And based on that, they come up with some kind of solution. Okay, this is the data, this is the error happened because of this variable, this incident happened. So what are the possible solutions? The probability of not occurring this event. So they will analyze the data and try to come up with a solution for it. During the time, they will do this machine language and what are all the satellite and what are the missions and what are the shuttle they are sending into the Mars or sending into the space center, they will rectify it using the artificial intelligence. Instead of doing it manually, they will come up with some programming language it will automatically do. As soon as the launcher is went into the Mars, it will open that launch pad and it will drive through and whatever things they are controlling from here. So those are all the activities done by the artificial intelligence with some kind of programming language. So that way, whatever the data they collected, they analyzed it and coming up with a possible solution. And they want to make sure that the possible solution is working fine without any other problem. So that's why they do a lot of testing, random testing and taking the variables and putting the value, they're changing the variables for all the possible way and to see if this variable is getting affected, what is the probability. So all kind of testing they will be doing it and then they will launch that to the Mars or space center, whatever. Hope that will clear your question, Doctor.
Okay, very nice. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
So,
Care, sir.
Please tell me.
Somebody is asking.
Karthikeyan, it is Karthikeyan.
Arun Kumar, sir. Please tell.
Yes, Arun Kumar from USA.
yeah, shall I go ahead or I can wait for some time?
Arun Kumar is trying to ask something. Arun Kumar, you can ask.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what are the best practices that we should follow when we talk about data science and from the report validation perspective?
Yes, you see, there is no mandatory because it's depending on the case-to-case basis. But the basic step is that data could be without any kind of quality issue. That is one of the main key factors. Because if you do the wrong data or invalid data, definitely the output also going to be the wrong or invalid. So the basic thing is like we need to get the quality of data without any kind of manual error or any kind of error. Okay, so that is one of the thumb rule for the data analysis perspective. And on top of it, whatever the analysis you are doing, it will be vary. Whatever the rules and regulation you are going to follow, it will vary for the different kind of analysis. The same kind of tools is used for the others also. It's depending on the situation because it's a kind of a probability theory, right? If I go with some assumption, I may get a good result, and the same cannot be used for other data analysis also. So it's depending on the situation. That's what the matter is. But the basic thumb rule is we need to get the quality of data. Do thorough testing of the data, whatever you collected, and have come up with some kind of proper question. What is the objective of this data analysis? So if you define those two very well, you will be able to get the clear output or good output, the quality of output.
Okay, yeah, that helps us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes.
Shall we finish it, sir?
Yes, sir. Rameshkumar, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think if we have no other questions, we can go to the final agenda of the session. Shall we?
I'm good if no one have any more question to be discussed.
Okay, last but not least, let it be from myself a small clarification for the sake of the participants. Artificial neural network is another important field that data science inevitably uses. And I request you how to link those concepts in data science, a small explanation. Supervised learning, unsupervised learning, everything comes under artificial neural network. There comes artificial intelligence. So in this way, people can connect these things, I suppose.
Yes, sir. Okay, so really that I am not able to recollect any specific example for it, just I'm thinking through. But yeah, as you mentioned, it is a kind of the related one only, that machine language and then the neural intelligence. So I hear that most of the things they are usually in the some kind of the hospital care and the utility management. So that's where they are having this kind of thing. So coming up with a robo of doing all the operations. Because currently I'm working for one of the healthcare company in the US. So that's where there are also people are using this lot of things on the neural programming and machine learning and the company, the data analysis report and all those stuff. but I really am not able to collect through the specific example. But there is a relation between these two, so that will really can be used. It.
Okay, sir, that's nice for us.
Thank you.
And I hope the participants might have enjoyed your speech very well. I am able to see in the chat box their comment, their mind of satisfaction. They have been expressing their thankfulness by way of chatting. So I think we have come to the end of this today's webinar. We shall move up with the permission of our speaker Rameshkumar and principal. Let me move on to the last agenda of this program. I invite Dr. Karthikeyan to present vote of thanks. Dr. Karthikeyan, you can take the stage for vote of thanks.
Yeah. First and foremost, it's taken immense pleasure to conclude for the vote of thanks for this program of one day international webinar on data science glimpse. First and foremost, to thank for the management of our Vasavi. And the next, I thank to our beloved principal, Dr. Rameshkumar sir. Next, I would like to thank our beloved HOD, Dr. K. Rajagopal sir, which very much related with this field of data science. He shall be a little bit motivated to me to organize such event also there. Next, formally, I personally thank my beloved friend as well as for my great support for Mr. Rameshmkumar Ramlingam. We had to contact for more than 25 years back to do still now. I thank you very much for your accept my invitation and give a great enthusiastic of the motivations for our students to getting for the data science and a glimpse also there. Formally, I thank to my colleagues, my friends to working with my department, all the faculty members and beloved my students also there. So I personally thank all the participants who joined with this to enjoy this program for the past 1.5 hours. This program would not be possible without the two important persons I personally thank to be here in this moment. And the first one is Mr. R.Gunaseelan sir, Department of Tamil from PhD CAS, to make it a wonderful technical support for make a Google Meet as well as for YouTube live stream on the programs. I personally thank once again sir, and also for the second, my personally thanks to my beloved brother, Mr. Hariharan, Head and Assistant Professor of KSR College of Arts and Science for Women, to make all kind of these formality of Google Forms and feedback forms, and to make some kind of forms of arrangements of certificate formalities there. So with the two great of the personality, this program will be make it a grand success to be here. Thank you very much for one and all person here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Karthikeyan, for your sharp and short vote of thanks, considering the time now. It is 8:30 night in India.
Sir, yes, I want to thank everyone for giving the opportunity to present my knowledge or sharing my knowledge to everyone. I want to thank you, Karthik.
Thank you, Ramesh.
Thanks to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Rameshkumar. We have to thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
And really, the question session were lively. Questions were asked by people working in industry and software. They are from Oracle and they are from USA.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so
much. The program has really become.
Sir, please share the feedback link.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Share the feedback link.
Yeah. Srikanth, you can speak.
There is no feedback link. Please share.
Okay. Thank you. Dr. Karthikeyan?
Yes, sir.
You please make the announcement on the feedback form.
Yes, sir.
Rajagopal?
Yes, sir.
So thank you, Rajagopal, and thank you very much.
Thank you very
much, sir, for coming over.
It's my pleasure, sir. It's my pleasure.
Karthikeyan?
Sir, சொல்லுங்க sir.
Thank you, Karthikeyan.
Thank you, sir.
Program.
Thank you.
Karthikeyan, please make announcement on the feedback form.
Sir, post பண்ணிருங்க.
The chat box will be open for another 20 to 30 minutes. Participants can download and you can submit at your own time.
Okay.
Just click on the link, then you can submit at your own time for the benefit of participants.
Yes, sir. I have already submitted.
Yes.
I am submitting.
Okay, for the benefit of participants, on behalf of the participants, I request our speaker Rameshkumar today to be there here for some more time, so that casual chatting or clarifications by participants can be answered. Shall I, sir?
Sure, sir. Yeah, I am available. I am available for another half an hour. That's not a problem at all. I can wait.
For another 5, 10, 15 minutes, that chat box and link will be open. You can casually interact with our speaker today.
Yes, I am good. Thank you.
Ramesh, please put on your email ID in the chat box.
Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Thank you.
The participants may be needed for any industry related of this requirement or maybe expectations of these basic skills. They will be contacted through the mail also.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah.
I have pinged my email ID.
If any of our department colleagues are there, please open your video and just introduce to our speaker.
ஐயா ரொம்ப நன்றி. இதுக்கு வந்து திருக்குறள்ல எனக்கு சொல்றதுக்கு ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். ரைட். எப்படி கிராண்ட் சக்சஸா உங்களால ஒரு இன்டர்நேஷனல் ப்ரோக்ராம் நடத்த முடியுது.
I request our department colleagues open their video and introduce themselves to our speaker today.
இப்ப அடுத்த டாபிக் என்னது? அவங்க வந்து கிளியர் பண்ணிடுவாங்க, அவ்வளவுதான்.
Dr. Rameshkumar, sir, good evening.
Good evening.
This is Dr. Vaidyaningam of our...
Sir, I am Dr. K. Vaidyaningam from the Department of Mathematics. The session is the full session I have attended, sir. It is very useful and informative for us also. We have learned there are a lot of things from you. And today only, there are a lot of applications, a lot of inventions are to be extended in the area of data science. Actually, my area of research is also in artificial intelligence. So you could talk only very small things about the artificial intelligence only. Due to the time issue or the topic, maybe it is somewhat unrelated to you, maybe. But we have expected another one session from you, sir, regarding the artificial intelligence. It is very useful for us also. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. We can do that, but as I discussed with Karthi, this is specifically for mathematics students or statistics students. So I don't want to go into the artificial intelligence more, because that's going to be more of a technical thing. So this cannot be accepted or cannot be learned by the other mathematical people. So that's one of the reason I didn't talk about much on the artificial intelligence. But definitely we can, maybe after a couple of months, we can prep for another topic on the artificial intelligence. Well, this is predominantly, I want to cover the basic things on the mathematics in the data science. So that is the agenda of this particular session. Definitely we can look for something in the future.
Thank you for your acceptance of your invitation, sir, and we are waiting for you. Thank you so much, sir.
No problem at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any participant can interact with our speaker today.
If you want, you can talk in our own language, Tamil also. I am very comfortable. Tamil kuda enna pesa mudiyum. Don't worry. But I know that people will be having some kind of hesitation talking in English or Tamil language. It's even though it is a kind of international discussion, but still I can talk in our own language. If you have Tamil pesana kuda pesala, I do not have any problem at all.
Even the international participants are also from Tamil Nadu.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, just in case I want to make sure if anyone is hesitant to talk.
Karthikeyan.
சார் சொல்லுங்க.
Since we are not able to get more participants to raise clarification, let us relieve our speaker from this tightness.
Okay. Mr. Rameshkumar.
Thank you once again from my personal behalf and behalf of my own department colleagues. As our colleagues requested, we are planning to have one more webinar for a 1 week long one. On that, I am planning to have one session per day, 1.5 hours lengthy. One session on mathematician can speak on data science. On another day, a statistician can speak on data science. On the third day, a computer science professional can speak on data science. And on the fourth day and the fifth day, people from industry who are working in data science like you can address. Every day, the program may extend up to 1.5 hours. So a week-long program we can have, and I want your suggestion and your support to conduct this in the near future itself, maybe in a month or two.
Sure, sir. Yeah, I will get the information from Karthik. If I need anything, I can participate from my side. Depending on my situation and availability, I can definitely contribute whatever way I can.
This is the request we wish to put in this juncture.
Sure, no problem at all. It's always my pleasure to do the things.
Very nice of you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir.
And you can leave if you wish.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, all my friends. And special thanks to my Karthik, my close friend. I will call it as Namba. Okay, Karthik, thanks.
Okay, I call you back.
Okay, after the session is over, just give me a call, we'll talk. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you. I will catch you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. See you, everyone. Thanks. Bye.